go ahead and bring in Senator Tom Cotton. He joins us by phone now. Senator, good to have you on. What are your initial thoughts, reactions to this pick?
Hi, Joanne. Thanks for having me on. Bill's right. The top of the ticket is what really matters. But Kamala Harris's choice of Tim Walz reinforces what we already knew, that she's a dangerous San Francisco liberal. Just consider, during the BLM riots in 2020, Tim Walz allowed rioters and arsonists and looters to rampage through Minneapolis. Kamala Harris then turned around and encouraged contributions to a bail fund for the few that were actually arrested. Kamala Harris has said she wants to decriminalize illegal immigration, that she stands up for illegal aliens and fights for their rights. Tim Walz has turned his state into a sanctuary state for violent, illegal felons. He's given driver's license to illegal aliens. He's given college tuition to illegal aliens. Kamala Harris is a San Francisco liberal, and Tim Walz is a self-professed socialist. He says that one person's socialism is another person's neighborliness. So the American people are going to make their decisions based on Kamala Harris's dangerous record, but Tim Walz simply exposes that record once again.
Yeah, Senator, we were talking with Brett about 20 minutes ago about the upper Midwest states, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and the appeal to blue-collar workers. Does Tim Walz fit that?
No, absolutely not, Bill. You can see it in the election returns from his two elections. My in-laws live in Minnesota. The only thing they're happy about is that maybe this means that they'll get rid of their failed governor. But it'd be even worse for all of us because the Harris-Walz record shows what a disaster they'd be in the White House. It confirms again that they'll be governing from the far left if they get into the White House. That it would mean higher taxes, more inflation, more crime, more chaos at the border, and more war and chaos around the world.
Senator, I guess his defenders, his supporters, Walz's supporters will tell you that he is very plain-spoken, he is likable, he's a former teacher and a football coach. What could be more American than that?
Well, I served with Tim Walz in the House. I know him. He is plain-spoken about his own far-left record, and that's why Kamala Harris picked him, because she's a San Francisco liberal, and she feels most comfortable around other far-left liberals. Again, it reinforces everything that the American people know about Kamala Harris's radical record.
Democrats have also touted, Senator, his relationship with Harris, notably closer than with some of the other front-runner VP ticket picks. What do you know about their relationship to one another from working with him and her?
Well, I don't think they overlapped in the Congress more than a couple years. I can tell you it's hard to build much of a relationship between the Senate and the House in just 2 years, especially when the congressman like Tim Walz was off running for governor. Let's be honest here, Jillian. For much of the last 2 weeks, most Democratic insiders thought Kamala Harris was going to pick Josh Shapiro, and that was the only potential choice that had an organized campaign against him by the pro-Hamas, anti-Semitic wing of the party. Frankly, Josh Shapiro and Tim Walz's views on Israel and the Middle East are not all that different. Kamala Harris is simply catering here to her far-left pro-Hamas element in the Democratic Party. I would say that she's leading that wing of it, but let's be honest, she can't lead anything. Well, certainly not this country, not even her party.
You know, Senator, just on that comment about the Middle East and, you know, the reaction here at home and in major American cities, you wonder what the data on the inside was telling them about how their party felt about this. I think for a while they thought maybe they could tamp this down and find a way to a ceasefire in Gaza and put a lot of this behind us. But what we saw in Washington 10 days ago was despicable. All those people in the headgear supporting Hamas and all over the Freedom Bell, and the amount of graffiti that was just drawn up on those monuments. I don't know where the cops were. I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that there weren't enough of them to stop them. But that, Senator, I believe, is probably what Kamala Harris is seeing deep within her party that is going to be a problem for the next 90 days and beyond, possibly.
Well, I think it is a problem for the Democrats. They've let this large anti-Semitic wing grow up. I don't want to say that Kamala Harris is paving to that wing. She belongs to that wing of the party. And the pro-Hamas lunatics you saw defacing monuments in Washington and burning the American flag is a growing part of their party. There were cops there. There were arrests made, but as always is the case with these left-wingers, they were promptly released or bailed out of jail, just like Tim Walz did in Minnesota during the BLM riots, just like Kamala Harris encouraged people to do during the BLM riots. And later that day, Kamala Harris came out. She didn't condemn those rioters. She didn't even say that she supported Israel's right to take the fight to Hamas. She put pressure on Israel to cave into Hamas. And what'd you get? More emboldened Iranian terror proxies. 2 days later, shooting missiles into Israel, blowing up kids on a playground. Israel has taken out 4 terrorist leaders. Do you get Kamala Harris celebrating the death of terrorists with American blood on their hands? No. They put more pressure on Israel to stop doing that as well. Kamala Harris doesn't have a problem with how Israel defends itself. She has a problem itself.
You dropped out there at the end, Senator, but I appreciate you jumping on the phone. Thank you, Tom Cotton, the Republican from Arkansas.